such allocation to I. Maintain and update, directly or through grants or contracts, the State School Facilities Database. Two, provide technical assistance to eligible local educational agencies in the state in carrying out school facilities capital outlay projects, including technical assistance regarding capital construction, energy efficiency, and climate resiliency. 3. Develop and implement state-level strategies for safe, healthy, energy-efficient, and environmentally resilient public school facilities that address AA. Indoor air quality, BB. Water quality. CC. Energy and water efficiency, DD. Renewable energy and decarbonization, EE. Exposure to toxic substances, including mercury, radon, polychlorinated biphenyls, lead, vapor, intrusions, and asbestos, FF. Climate resiliency, GG. Emergency preparedness for natural or man-made disasters or emergencies. And HH. Structural hazards created by pyrrhotite, as determined by an engineer's report and pyrrhotite testing. 4. Provide professional development opportunities for state and local staff involved in maintenance and operations and school facilities capital outlay projects. And V. Administer and monitor the implementation of subgrants provided under Clause I. 4. Rebuild America's Schools subgrants to eligible local educational agencies. A. Application. The state educational agency shall require an eligible local educational agency desiring a subgrant under paragraph 3(b)(i) to submit an application to the state educational agency that, at a minimum, includes I. A certification that the eligible local educational agency shall use subgrant funds for school facilities capital outlay projects that prioritize the improvement of the public school facilities of such agency that serve the highest numbers or percentages of students who are eligible for a free or reduced price lunch under the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, 42 U.S.C. (1751), under a method established by the Secretary, and 2. Such agency's facilities master plan. B. Rebuild America's Schools subgrant use of funds. An eligible local educational agency that receives a subgrant under paragraph 3(b)(i) shall use such funds to carry out school facilities capital outlay projects, including one or more of the following: I. Assessing, planning, designing, constructing, modernizing, retrofitting, or decarbonizing public school facilities. 2. Carrying out major repairs of public school facilities, including repairs to extend the life of facilities, systems and components by not less than 10 years. Three, upgrading or replacing major facilities, systems, components, furniture, fixtures, and equipment with a life of not less than 10 years. 4. Constructing new public school facilities, including when student enrollment exceeds the physical and instructional capacity of public school facilities. V. Purchasing and preparing sites on which public school facilities will be constructed. 6. Improving energy and water efficiency in public school facilities, including improvements related to clean energy. Seven, reducing or eliminating the presence of health and safety hazards in public school facilities, including I. Toxic substances, including mercury, radon, polychlorinated biphenyls, lead, and asbestos. 2. Mold or mildew. 3. Rodents and pests. And 4. Structural hazards created by pyrrhotite. Eight. Improving instructional or outdoor public school facilities relating to early learning, special education, science, technology, career and technical education, physical education, the arts, literacy, including library programs, or community-based partnerships. 9. Improving the public school facilities of magnet schools, or other instructional programs, designed to increase student diversity and decrease racial or socioeconomic isolation. X. Supporting independent commissioning and certification of public school facilities, public school facility systems, and school facilities capital outlay projects. D. Conditions. 1. State matching requirement, A. In general, as a condition of receiving an allocation under subsection C. 1. B. A state shall contribute, from non-federal sources, an amount equal to 10% of the amount of the allocation received under such subsection to carry out activities supported by such allocation. B. Exemption. States that contributed an average of 10% or greater toward total local educational agency capital outlay from non-federal funds, within the most recent 5-year fiscal period, are exempt from the state matching requirement under subparagraph A. 2. State maintenance of effort, A. In general, the state shall provide an assurance to the Secretary that for each fiscal year that the state receives an allocation under this section, the state's share of school facilities capital outlay will be not less than 90% of the average of the state's share of school facilities capital outlay for the 5 years preceding the 2020 fiscal year. B. Waiver. Notwithstanding subparagraph A, in response to a request from a state, the Secretary may modify or waive, in whole or in part, the requirement of subparagraph A, if the Secretary determines that such state demonstrates an exceptional or uncontrollable circumstance, such as a natural disaster, pandemic, or precipitous decline in revenue. 3. Supplement not supplant as a condition of receiving an allocation under subsection C. 1b. A state shall use funds received under this section only to supplement the level of state and local public funds that would, in the absence of the receipt of federal funds under this section, be made available for the state's contribution to school facilities capital outlays, and not to supplant those other funds. Definitions. 1. ESEA terms. The terms elementary school, local educational agency, secondary school, and state educational agency have the meanings given the terms in Section 8101 of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965, 20 U.S.C. 7801. 2. Eligible local educational agency. The term eligible local educational agency means a local educational agency, including a public charter school that is a local educational agency under state law, in a state that a. is identified by the state based on the criteria established under the State Facilities Plan as among the local educational agencies in such state with I. the highest numbers or percentages of students counted under Section 1124, c. of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965, 20 U.S.C. (6333) c. or 2. The most limited capacity to raise funds for the long-term improvement of public school facilities, as determined by an assessment of factors determined by the Secretary. B. Certifies that any funds received under this section shall be used to prioritize the improvement of public school facilities of public elementary or secondary schools that serve the highest percentages of students who are eligible for a free or reduced price lunch under the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, 42 U.S.C. (1751), under a method established by the Secretary, and c. certifies that any public school facilities improved by funds received under this section are I. operated and managed by a public agency or a non-profit private entity, and 2. I. owned or leased from a public agency, or 2. owned or leased from a private entity, except that no individual associated with such private entity may have a financial interest or management role in the local educational agency. 3. Local Facilities Master Plan. The term Local Facilities Master Plan means a plan of a local educational agency developed under subsection C. 3a I by the local educational agency, in consultation with local stakeholders, which includes an assessment of such agencies' public school facilities, financing of school capital project outlays, and student enrollment levels, and other factors determined by the Secretary. 4. Operations and maintenance of school facilities. The term operations and maintenance of school